Hi, it's Daryl with 10-foot truck, good attitudes, hauling, and junk removal. Anyway, just not busy today. Today's kind of a day off so far, although that could change at any moment. If I get a phone call, I'll be out there. Yesterday, I did a nice drive. I think I had a video yesterday when I went out to Sandpoint, Idaho, and that's quite a ways from where I live. But the only reason I take those type of deliveries, I usually don't go. That's like an hour and a half. Well, not quite an hour and a half, but yeah, somewhere around there. Because that's kind of off the beaten path for me. But the customer paid well enough for me to make money, and the thing is sometimes I like to go out. I'll take a job that's way out, and if I'm getting paid enough per mile, so that I can see areas I have never been to, and that was really cool for me to go out there because I didn't really know there was a hippie town in this area. And what I mean by hippie town, I mean like artsy kind of community. It's kind of a skiing, watercraft, artistic kind of community where people like to go vacation, and people there, you know, kind of like a hippie area. But I didn't know they had those up in Idaho, but they do. So it was pretty cool because I like those little hippie towns because they usually have really good restaurants and good food, and then a lot of artwork and stuff, and art galleries and little art pieces and different murals and stuff. I like to look at that. It's nice. It's nice to have towns that look cool like that because your average suburbs is pretty boring. You don't have your strip malls, and where I live it's just strip malls and your standard what I call homogenized restaurants, and every once in a while you got a cool little hamburger stand and that kind of thing. But it's pretty standard. People work, they go, they go to work and they come home, and it's just their standard suburb. You don't have that kind of vibe where you have in those little towns like that. They're like little vacation spots. So I'm glad I found that, because then I'd like to go out there. I mean, I'm not much of a skier anymore. I used to ski a lot when I was younger, but I haven't skied, and I really not interested in going out and doing that and breaking my leg. So, and I'm not really interested in boating. I like good looking at the lake. I looking at the mountains, but I'm not really interested in going out on a boat. So, but the one thing I liked about it, even though that's pretty much what it is, it's a boating and a ski town, is the arts and the crafts and the different and the restaurants. So I like, and the scenery. So I might go back there. I'll probably go back in spring. Go out there and just kind of hang out. But if in the spring and summer, if I get jobs out, I'll take jobs out there in that area. I'll go if I can travel out to a nice area. So that's another thing I like about doing the deliveries and the pickups and that kind of, is that you go to places that you may have never been to. And in fact, when I was driving big trucks, big rigs, I went and saw every city, every town, pretty much every state in the United States, just because we had to haul things everywhere. And I'll always remember that. And it was I was paid to do it, so that was cool. But I'm not doing those long hauls with my little truck anymore. But I'll do hauls I'll go 3-4 hours out if I get a job that pays good enough. I probably won't go more. Really, I don't want to go too much farther than 40 or 50 miles. But every once in a while, I'll go. I want to go check a town out. I checked out another area last week too. I did another job which was pretty far out towards the falls area, and that was cool too. I looked at a lot of cool areas, nice land, nice places to live. Because someday, I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but someday I wouldn't mind living way out, like out in a small area, small town, or smaller region. I mean, I grew up in a big city, with millions of people, and then I moved to another big city, and which even bigger, and then moved to Los Angeles, and then I moved from Los Angeles to Seattle, and moved into a bigger city, and then moved from there to Portland, which is another big city, and then I moved from Portland to back to Seattle, and then moved from Seattle. Now I'm in Spokane, which is considered a medium-sized city, but it's growing. So it's medium, but it's getting bigger. It's not nearly as big as Seattle, and not even close to like LA. I think there's probably I would venture to guess around the whole area. I mean, the city probably a couple 100,000, but I think where I live outside of the city, so I live in another area, which is it's in the county, but it's outside of the city, which is about 100,000. So, and then you got Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and you got Post Falls, which are right next door, which is kind of the same metro area. So there's the area. I think it's probably 5 or 6, maybe 700,000 at the most. The whole area. I mean, the whole region, maybe 700,000, and it's a big region, big area. Whereas Seattle's like probably 4 million. I don't know. I mean, the whole area, the metro, and then LA is like, God dang, I don't know, 20 million. Who knows, 25 million. I don't really like living. I've lived in enough big cities. I don't like it. I don't like big cities. I don't like all that mess. And now I'm in a medium city, and I'm really not really interested. I'm going to live here because you get work here, but I just would rather live in a smaller area. Of course, when you live in a small area, there's not as much work. I mean, depending on what you do. Like if you work computers remotely and you're just doing from your computer at home, you can live anywhere as long as you got internet. But I have to go out and get customers and in the region, so it's better to live in a place that has a good population, which here is good enough for me. I'm not going to go bigger than this. I'm not going back to the big city. I know never say never, but I just really prefer to stay away from big cities. And but like I said, my ultimate goal is to go to a little town like Sandpoint or something like that. Of course, that would be way down the road, where I don't have to worry so much about working all the time, or you know how that is. It's like a retirement type thing. But that was it. So that was cool, because then I get to see all these other regions around here, which I had never been to. And so I'm always happy about taking a delivery or something that's going to be in an area that I've never been, just to explore that area. And someday that area may be something that I might want to move to, or even look into buying something there down the road. It's if you don't go to like places you've never been, and you're never going to know how things are. Like when I went trucking big rigs across the United States, I was able to see the entire United States. And if I didn't do that, I probably would have never done that, because the costs of traveling are very expensive. And I was able to get paid and travel, and I did it for a long time, for quite a while, quite many months. And I was able to see pretty much all the entire United States. So I kind of know which areas I like and which areas I don't like, and my personal preferences. I don't really like humid areas. I like a little less humidity, and I don't like areas that are too hot, like Arizona. It's too hot for me there, or Vegas. So I want to be kind of in a cooler area, but not too humid. But so I was able to do that, and I think anyone who is doing the transportation type job, that they get that kind of opportunity to go and see places and get paid. So that's a good benefit to that job, is doing that. So that was good. That just was interesting to see those other places. So hopefully I'll get another. I'd like to go more into Idaho, because Idaho is kind of interesting. We're right here on the border, and I've seen a lot of Washington. But even I've lived in Washington for a long time, and I've only seen parts of it. So there's still a lot of areas like up in the northern area that I haven't seen, towards Okanagan and all that. I live on the eastern side, all the way towards Idaho. I've lived on the western side, so I've seen all the western Cascade area, most of that up and down. I used to do runs up to Bellingham and then down to Vancouver, so I've seen all that. Portland. And now I'm in the eastern side, so I'm exploring the eastern area. And of course, the eastern side is connected to Idaho, so then I get to see a lot of the northern Idaho area. And when I was trucking, I did some jobs down in Boise, so I've seen the southern Idaho. And then since we're right on the border of Idaho, and northern Idaho is just a really small region, that Montana is the next state, and Montana is very close. So I hope maybe to get something going into Montana in that area someday. So, because I know Montana is a really nice state too. It's been a long time since I've driven through there. So that'll be it. We'll see what happens. We'll see the next adventure down the road. It's getting cooler out here, but not cold. It rained yesterday, but I can feel the fall weather coming in, and it's going. We're heading towards the colder times, and those are a little bit more difficult, more challenging for travel. So when it gets to those snowy days, like in December, usually around here it starts to snow significantly, probably in late November or December, So those times, like from December to late January and even into February, you're going to have times where it's going to be extremely challenging traveling, especially without the four-wheel drive or the chains or this and that. I have an all-wheel drive car I use for things when I'm having to do that, and looking into a possibly an all-wheel drive commercial vehicle, which is possible. That would help a lot. So yeah, it becomes slow, and it's, it's a little more of a challenge. So I have to be ready for that. And yeah, today I'll probably just I might do like some app work, like maybe some roadies or something like that, where I'm driving the SUV, unless someone calls for the truck. But usually when it rains, people will call for the truck because they can't really transport, or you don't really want to transport items like mattresses or couches or any kind of things that have a cloth, that kind of thing, or any kind of furniture in the rain. And even if I used to do that in the pickup truck, and even if you tarp the thing a lot, when it's really raining, like yesterday, where we're just coming down, it just splashes up, and eventually there's a hole or something that gets in there, and then your mattress is wet. So with my box truck, it's sealed up. Nothing gets wet. I mean, you don't have to tarp nothing. You just close the door and everything's sealed. So I'm hoping that someone will call, because it is going to rain today and tomorrow, I think. So usually people would rather hire a box truck for when it's raining, because they don't want to have to tarp up their load and deal with that. Even if you're tarping, you're still going to get it wet at some point. It's raining. Like yesterday, it was raining so hard. It was like a monsoon, and it was just coming down. So I suspect that anyone who was traveling with a pickup truck and a load probably got it wet. So hopefully someone will call me for that. Anyway, well, I've been blabbing a little too much, so maybe I'll just say goodbye. Till next time, 10-foot truck.